Hello, good day. We are the Group 1, and we are now excited to present the article we choose titled Exploring the Impact of Internal Crisis Communication on Tourism Employees. Insight from a mixed method study. The introduction summary of this study. This study focuses on how internal communication affect tourism employees, especially during challenging times like the COVID-19 pandemic. While most research in the tourism management has focused on external communication, we notice a gap. There is a very little understanding of how internal communication supports employees during crisis. This research explores what tourism employees expect from their organization, how they evaluate internal communication efforts, and how these practices influence their relationship with employees and their intention to stay or leave. By addressing this gap, this study offers both theoretical insight and practical recommendation for improving internal crisis communication in the tourism industry.
So, let me explain the theoretical background of this study using something called language expectancy theory, or LET for short. Um, this theory says that people already have certain expectation about others should communicate in specific situations. For example, during a crisis like a pandemic or what do you call this, a sudden business problem, employees expect their manager to speak clearly, honestly, and quickly. If those expectations are met, the message become more persuasive and trustworthy. So now, let's connect this to the hospitality industry, which includes hotels, resorts, and tourism services. So in field, communications is everything. When companies talk openly and respectfully with their staff, especially during hard times, people build trust. Employees feel safer, more supported, and more loyal to the company. This kind of communication does not just make people feel good. It also reduces staff turnover and improves overall satisfaction. So, in short, LET help us understand why the way we speak matters, especially in hospitality. It shows that isn't just about words, it's about meeting people's expectation and creating stable, caring workplace.
So next is methods. First, we have research design. So the study used a mixed methods research design combining qualitative and quantitative approaches. So this allows the researchers to gain a comprehensive understanding of internal crisis communication in tourism organizations. So the researchers used an exploratory design, conducting a qualitative study first and using the findings to build a quantitative study. So next we have the instruments. So qualitative data was collected through semi-structured interviews, allowing for in-depth exploration of participants' experiences and perspectives. So quantitative data was collected through a national survey using a structured questionnaire to measure key variables. The survey aimed to test relationship among key variables. So next we have the participants or the samples. So the qualitative component included 20 semi-structured interviews with tourism workers. The quantitative component involved a national survey of 804 completed responses from tourism workers. So participants were recruited using purposive and snowball sampling, ensuring a diverse range of perspectives. So last, we have the procedures. The qualitative study involved conducting interviews in the summer of 2021, a peak travel season. So the quantitative study developed hypotheses based on the literature and qualitative findings. The researchers distributed questionnaires and collected responses, which were then analyzed using statistical methods.
Good morning, ma'am. Hi everyone, today I am sharing the main results about how communication affects tourism employees during tough times. We'll look at what makes employees feel secure and committed to their jobs. So first thing first, the main findings in result is first, the research shows that when things get tough in tourism, employees really want their bosses to communicate quickly and honestly. Secondly, good communication builds a better relationship between employees and employers, making everyone more dedicated to the company. And also, when companies are transparent about internal problems, employees are less likely to leave their jobs. And next is the trend significant outcomes of this article. Another finding is that transparent communication is super important for building trust and reducing uncertainty among employees. The study found that the quality of the messages from the company matters more than the quantity. And next thing, when employers communicate openly and honestly, it significantly improves the relationship, leading to happier and more committed employees. And the conclusion about the result is, in summary, clear and honest communication is very crucial in the tourism industry, especially during crisis. It helps build trust, improves relationship, and keeps employees committed to their jobs. That's all. That's the result of this article, ma'am. Thank you.
In the discussion based on the interpretation of results, we can see that internal crisis communication is really important for tourism and hospitality organizations because when leaders are transparent and clear with their employees during crisis, it reduces uncertainty, it builds trust, and it helps staff feel supported. And if communication is poor, morale can drop and people may even start thinking of leaving the company. And the application of it in the hospitality, the study emphasizes that it matters a lot because the industry depends heavily on motivated employees to deliver consistent service. Clear communication not only keeps morale and commitment high, but it also reduces burnt out and ensures guests still gets quality service even during tough times. And beyond the workplace, it also helps the wider community by keeping guests safe, strengthening public trust, and showing that hospitality businesses are responsible partners in society.
Hello everyone, this slide highlights what makes our study strong. We've got three main points. First, the study is strong because it methodological rigor. This means they use a solid approach. They combine different methods, interviews and surveys. This help they get a really comprehensive and understanding. They got a deep information from the interviews and board insight from the surveys. And second, the relevance of the findings is a major strength. The research focuses on the current and important issue in the tourism and hospitality industry. It looks at how organizations communicate with their employees during times of crisis. This is a very timely and practical topic. Third, the last, this study makes a significant contribution to knowledge. It shifts the research focus from external crisis communication to internal crisis communication. Instead of just looking at how companies talk to the outside world, it looks at how they communicate with their own employees. This leads to a new way of thinking about tourism management.
Weaknesses of the study. Potential biases or limitations. Number 1. Self-reported data may come with social desirability bias. So the information came only from what employees said about themselves. This can be sometimes be biased because people may answer in a way that looks good, not always 100% true. Number 2 is participants were limited to tourism workers during a specific time, the context of COVID-19, which may limit general liability. So the study focused only on tourism workers during COVID-19. This makes the findings hard to apply to other situations or different crises. Number 3. The study considered the employee's perspective without addressing management perspective. So, the research looked only at employees' options. It did not include the perspective of managers or leaders, which could have given a more complete picture.
Next, we have personal critique or insights. First, connection to hospitality management. So the study links to hospitality management by showing that transparent and frequent internal crisis communication improves employee trust, morale, and retention. These outcomes are essential for maintaining service quality and operational stability during crisis, making communication a strategic tool for hospitality leaders.
Second question in the personal critic is, do you agree with the findings? Yes, the findings are convincing because they reflect real situations in the hospitality industry. During crisis, employees naturally seek guidance and reassurance. So transparent communication provides them with a sense of security and motivation, which directly translates into better service. So this makes the study's conclusion both practical and relevant to real workplace experiences. And the last personal critic questions is, what could be improved? It would be more comprehensive if it included long-term data from different crises, consider differences across roles or culture, and examined which communication channels are most effective. Additionally, providing concrete guidelines or training strategies for managers would make the results more actionable for the industry.
The year 2024 also shows that the study is recent and updated, which makes its finding more relevant to today's context. Lastly, the DOI link included in the reference provides a permanent online address so that anyone can easily find and access the full article if they want to read it more.
The reference used in the presentation is from Leo Laster, Wayne and Okumus 2024, published in the journal Tourism Management. This reference is important because it shows the exact source of the study, making the information credible and reliable since it is published in the International Peer Review Journal. It means the article has been carefully checked by experts in the field before being released.